Hi guys, a member of the audience at Question Time when it visited Scotland, who must have been a Brexiteer, decided to make a bit of a fool of himself by claiming that the country, if it went independent and rejoined the European Union, would have to take its marching orders from Germany and France. Now he contrasted this with the current state of affairs, where he said that at least when Scotland is part of the United Kingdom, it has a say. This sort of ignorance needs to be stamped out. Have a listen.
Independent would Scotland be if we've got the Germans and the French telling us what to do when we get this independence?
Do you mean if you rejoin
really
the EU?
Going to be, we're not going to...
What do you mean? Do you mean if you rejoin the EU?
If we got independence and we rejoined the
Right.
EU, then what independence do we have? At least with the UK government, we have influence, we have MPs there, and we can do something with it. We will have no say. We will be a nation of 5 million people at the very end of Europe that no one or very few will listen to in Brussels.
My goodness, has this guy ever heard of members of the European Parliament? Members of the European Parliament that Scotland used to send to Brussels, but can't now. I've said before, MEPs don't generally represent nations. They represent nations via voting blocks. Because there are a lot of MEPs, and MEPs will join a voting bloc. Maybe it's the Liberals, maybe it's the left wing, the Socialists, maybe it's the Conservatives, whatever, the People's Parties, whatever. But you will have influence. You have no influence in Brussels at the moment because of Brexit. This guy probably voted for Brexit. He sounds like a Brexiteer. But this idea that, well, you know, if Scotland became independent, joined the European Union, we'd have no say. We'd be we'd be under the heel of France and Germany. And he mentioned about the population, you know, we're on the edge of Europe. Ireland is on the edge of Europe, and it has influence. Look at what happened during the Brexit negotiations. The European Union backed Ireland to the hilt. They supported it at every turn, made sure that the peace process, the Good Friday Agreement, was protected. The European Union could have said, to hell with that, it's nothing to do with us, we need to protect the single market, let's put a border on the island of Ireland. They could have said that, but they understood that that would be a mistake. So they listened to Ireland, a very small country, in respect to other nations. But when it comes to size, Estonia is small, has a smaller population than Scotland. Malta has a population of just over 500,000. But finally, this thing about influence. What influence does Scotland have in Westminster? Because during the pandemic, the Scottish First Minister was trying to reach out to Boris Johnson, and he ignored her on a number of occasions. In the same way he ignored the Welsh First Minister. They were trying to organise meetings to deal with the pandemic, and Boris Johnson just ignored them. When it comes to influence in Parliament, every week, every bloody week, Penny Mordaunt, the leader of the House of Commons, insults the Scottish people, stands up and insults the Scottish people. How is that in any way good? At any stage, did the President or some representative in the European Parliament stand up and insult the British people when Britain was a member of the European Union? Maybe there were some dodgy people, headbangers within the European Parliament, but I don't remember. I remember one insulting the European Parliament itself, insulting the European Union, Nigel Farage, when he was a member of the European Parliament. But I don't remember other countries' representatives insulting Britain or insulting other nations. But every week, Penny Mordaunt stands up and insults the Scottish people. So how is that influence? How is that positive? Now, I said before that if Scotland becomes independent and it wants to rejoin the European Union, or join the European Union, it will be a process. It will take time. It will require negotiation. Scotland will have to negotiate some sort of withdrawal agreement probably with Westminster. That will be complicated. There'll be many issues to resolve. When it applies to become a member of the European Union, that's going to take time. It's going to take negotiation. But I don't know what else to say about this. It's just beyond ridiculous. These people can't, it seems, be educated. They can't have things explained to them. Like, this guy is old enough to remember when the UK was a member of the European Union. He probably voted for an MEP? Does he not understand that? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.